see. Let's see if that works. Somebody called. I don't know who it was. Okay, let's try this again, y'all. I wonder what's happening. Doesn't want to say what I have to say. Not understanding this. Started streaming. It says I'm streaming. Sorry, guys. If you guys are watching, there I am. Okay. Okay, that's really close. Let me back you guys up. Okay, so can you guys see me now? Let me see if this is real time. I'm waving to myself. Let's see if I can see. Okay, good. All right, you guys. How's that? Yeah? Okay, I'm so sorry. Technical difficulties. This is community radio. If it's not the this stuff going on, like it's the funny stuff. Mm, let's see. At least you guys got music in the background. Hold on. Oh, where'd that go? Come back. Oh, I see you. All right, let's see. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. All right, you guys. Can you guys see me? I know. Bear with me. Bear with me. This is like what's stuff we have to deal with sometimes. All right. I got a really nice background on this side, if you could only see. All right, we're running out of time here. This is crucial. You can see me now? Is everybody there? Well, you'll catch the replay. So you'll see all the the bloopers, because this is not edited. Oh my God, you guys, seriously. All right, let's talk. Hold on, I gotta put my feet up. This is gonna be a minute. All right, so let me tell you what happened. So let me turn this down. So as you know, I was doing an interview. With Brian, the Solar Bee. Hello, y'all. I know I probably should keep it closer so I can read what you guys are saying. Hey, 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 y'all. Hey, hey. Blessings and infinite love to all you guys. Hey, what's up? What's up, everybody? Come on in. We are about to get down. Okay, so let me try to keep this brief. So as you know, I did an interview with Brian, and he had mentioned with the Solar Bee, and he had mentioned that he was doing this conference, and I felt like I was ready to be a speaker, and I felt like for me, that was where I can say I've made it, because to be in the spiritual community and to have had experiences with the paranormal and everything like that, and to be able to share your story, everybody knows, like, that's, it's the big deal, because people don't usually talk about their experiences, right? They're not that open, or however you want to call it. And so all the work that I do and all the experiences that I have had, I was like, okay, I'm ready to share. I'm excited about the journey that I've had in these last couple of years, and so I'm ready to share with the world. Why didn't anybody slap me? So it happens when you live in the mountains and no one's around. They just push you along. So that was in April, and I remember, long story short, I remember, like, my husband I was like, I'm going to Florida. And he was like, what? He works hard every day, 7 days a week, doesn't have a vacation. And I'm over here going on vacation. And he's like, you're what? I'm like, babe, I'm doing this, for the cause. And he was just like, and he's like, I really don't have a say in this. I'm like, no, this is where I can say, like, look, babe, I made it, I'm sharing my story. And so he was like, he's gonna kill me when I say this. He was like, I'm not gonna pay for that. I have a job. So he was like, I'm not paying for that. I can't go on vacation, although I know he would. But he was just like, feisty, fighting back. And I was just like, I'm so sorry, but I have to do this. And I felt called to do it, right? And so I end up saying to him, like, I'm going to manifest somebody sponsoring me, and they're just going to be like, I got this money and I just want to help you out. And, I just want to support your cause. And so it came out of nowhere either, too. Like, I'm starting to question that as well. Like, who said that? Um, it came out of nowhere, and I was just like, okay, yeah, that's right. I'm going to manifest that. And he just looked at me like scared, like he knew I was serious. And so a couple days later, I got an email from somebody named John, who was like, you and Rob are going to this event and there's no buts about it. And I was just like, whoa, an angel has fallen into my hands. And I didn't even know who this guy was. I didn't know if he knew who I was, or he knew of me and Rob. Apparently, he watched the show, he knew. And so I was like, wow, thank you, God. And so I started to get to know him. Seemed like a great guy, from Tennessee. He had that Tennessee slang, and he just seemed like a fun guy. And so I was like, yeah, he's cool. And then I told Rob, like, Rob, we're good. And Rob was like, crazy Rob. He was just like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, Rob, this is what you're gonna do. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be great. This is what we're gonna do. Like, we have no, like, this is what we're gonna do. And so he kept like driving me crazy. Every month he was like, I don't know. I'm like, Rob, listen, this is what we're gonna do. Stick to the plan. Like, stop rocking the boat. And the time came and we were gonna do it. And I told Rachel, one of my Cosmic Crusaders, I was like, Rachel, you got to come with me, because there's no way I'm going to leave my baby behind. Like, the husband's already working 7 days a week. He's like putting our house up as I leave. He's building our house, our dream house. And there's just like no way. Long story short, she said, I'm coming. She brought the baby. Chris came along, my two crew, and Rob. So that's my crew. I'm traveling with my crew. We got the baby Phoenix. We got Aaliyah. And we went on a road trip. And I didn't think anything of it. I was like, I got money. Hubby was like, I support you. Go ahead. Have a good time. Do your thing. And it was all beautiful. Everything like worked out, right? And so I was like, great. Leading up to it, everything was doing great. Everything was great. But then right before I left, I had this feeling like, I can sense when people are going to die sometimes. I don't usually talk about this, but I always get a voice and I get a sense, and I just know because I tend to know the future a lot. And I don't usually talk about it, but I feel like anybody can tap into that intuition, but maybe it's a superpower. I don't know. So I felt like, shoot, man, my dog. I was worried about my dog, but then I like put it at the back of my head because I was like, no, she's going to be fine. I just started doing all my protection, doing all that stuff prior. So then we go on the road trip, and I get to Rachel's house. I stay the night, charge my batteries. And the next day we get Rob. We don't leave till like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, guys. Like, we were so, like, you talk about space cadets. We were straight space cadets. We were so chill. And I liked it like that too, because it wasn't like, there wasn't no real pressure to get there, but it was like a pressure to get there. You know what I mean? It was like, we got to get there, but we had plenty of time because we left days early. So anyways, when we get there, it was a long drive, yes. And, so when we get there, I meet up, we get our rooms, everything is hooked up, we have a beautiful room, perfect. It was like a little apartment, we had a little yard and everything. It was like 2 beds. I brought Rachel and Chris, and they watched the baby the whole time, and they were great. And I met John, you know, he was super cool, and Brian, and everybody started flooding in, and we just, like, it was just so nice. Like, the vibe was so chill. It was, like, exciting. It was nice. And it was also quiet. It was like moving, there was a lot of stuff moving around. There was a lot of whispers, but then it was also quiet. And and so I was like, okay, interesting. So the first couple days, I didn't really sit in because I have like ADHD, I can't sit still. So I didn't watch a lot of speakers right away. I missed a few. I think Matthew was the first one. I think I might have missed him. Um, um, Not sure what that's about. But anyways, so some people had roommates, some people didn't. Rob had his roommates. I got to meet Michelle. She was so sweet. And Carl, you know, crazy Carl, he was cool. And like we just had such a good time. Like every day we really just chilled and had a good time. It was so hot. Our skin was like melting. It was so hot. Like I couldn't even be outside and try to get like my 2 shades darker. I was just like, it's so hot, I can't even breathe. And then when you were in the air conditioning room, it got so cold where you were just like, oh my God, I got to go outside. So it was like Vegas. Um, and then it was the last day. And the last day, we had a costume party. And um, then, like, all these people started flooding in. And I was like, where are all these people coming from? It was this last day, all these people just started coming in. And three things happened to me right away. And my spider senses, so okay, as a psychic empath, I usually am very careful about turning on and off my abilities because I want to be normal sometimes. So when I go in crowds, I might shut off my senses and I'm just like being a normal person. Then there's other times where I turn on my senses and I can tune into everything and I'm just like, you know. But so this time I was like half and half. So I had like turned on my senses, but I was more in focusing on protection because I knew that this was treading on like, you know, dark waters kind of like, you never know what's going to happen here. And so my mind was like trying to stay positive. So the whole time driving there, I didn't really let anybody drive. I was crazy. I was like, I had a rental car and I was like, you know, um, Rachel, I love her dearly, but I didn't let her drive because I really wanted everybody to have a good time and just relax. So I'm a driver. I don't mind. So I drove as long as I could. And then when it came to like midnight, I would let Rachel drive. But then I would end up like struggling because Rachel is like me, but she's like she's a little space cadet, so she kept talking and like, and it was like dark, and like they got lost and I couldn't sleep. I was like, Rachel, I'm kicking her off the car. I'm like, you're done, your time's up. She's like, I just started. I was like, okay, fine, let me just calm down and relax. But she was so cute. She got us there. She got us through the night. She was a trooper. And her baby, you know, he was a trooper too. But the last day, that's when stuff got really wild. And so the first thing that happened was this lady came out of nowhere, um, and she was like, oh, it's my birthday and I'm here. And so that's the thing. It's like three people had come up to me and said these these strange things. They said, number one, it's my birthday. And number two, I'm here pretty much by myself. And number three, um, I didn't know you, not that they didn't know we were having a UFO conference, but I felt like I had to be here. And I was just like, yo, why did these three people say the exact same thing? It was like a line. And it was really freaky. And it is not that hard to make a fake ID, you know, it's not really that hard. So you can make an ID that looks like it's your birthday, you know, I'm not that stupid. I'm from LA, you know, East LA, they get fake IDs there all the time. So I was just like, oh my God. And then this when we got to the dinner, this lady comes and sits right next to me. I'm talking with the girls and there's like 5 open chairs, and she sits right next to me. And I have a pet peeve about people pulling up right next to me when there's 100 open seats, like right next to me. And I'm just like, who are you, lady? And she just starts opening her phone, and she's showing me all these pictures of like clouds and like pointing to, do you see this? I'm like, no, I don't see any of that. And she just kept pointing. I'm like wanting her to stop. And so finally I'm not a rude person, but I was being rude. And then I felt bad because she had this look on her face like, like it didn't work. And so this guy comes to sit next to her, and I was like, do you know him? And she's like, no. I'm like, oh, because you guys act like you were husband and wife for a second. Like it was like agents sitting next to each other type of thing. So, so then it was really weird. And so I was ignoring her, and she finally got the hint, and she kind of like moved away. And I told her, I really wanted to tell her not to sit next to me, that I was saving that seat for somebody, but my stupid butt couldn't open my mouth and say the words. I was, I'm telling you, it was like there was so many things going on that you felt like you were in a daze almost. Um, you felt like you were in a daze, I have to say. Um, and so, it was really interesting because I noticed that first time, like I just felt like I was in a daze. And I've had spells put on me before, so I kind of know what they feel like. But like Rob was having trouble sleeping, he couldn't sleep. Like everybody was starting to talk about what they were experiencing. People were saying they were seeing people shapeshift. I was seeing things. I wasn't trying to say it, but I was like calling it out. And then people were confirming things, and yeah, but I was being a control freak because I was like, I'm driving, I'm renting this car. If God forbid anything happens, like I'm gonna be so much in trouble. Like I had insurance on the vehicle, but I'm just like I'm a mama bear, and I was kind of being like no, I got this. So I didn't let anybody drive. Rachel kept begging me. She was like clawing at my back, like, please let me. I said, no, back away. I kept telling her no, but I should have let her drive during the day, but I don't know what was into me. I was just really nervous. I was just like really nervous and trying to stay focused, and I didn't want anything to happen, and so I was just being a control freak. But they put up with me. I know at the end, Rachel was like, I'm not getting in this car. She was like, I'm taking a flight home. But let me tell you what else happened. So then the next creepy thing, this all happened the same time, by the way. So then I'm sitting outside after this crazy lady came up to me at the dinner. So then I'm sitting outside, and it's about like maybe midnight. And like we're all like lingering by the fire, we're having a good time, getting all stony out and like chilling. Like we were having such a good time. And this weird guy comes up to me, and he's like stumbling, acting like he's drunk. And he acts like he needs a light. And he sees I'm the one with the lighter, so he comes to me and is like stumbling, and I'm like, okay, he's been watching us for a minute. Like I'm already starting to think like, okay, he's been watching us for a minute. I go into detective mode, right? I'm like, okay. And so I was like, what's this guy doing? And so he was like, I went to go give him the lighter, and he acted like he couldn't grab it. So I was like, oh, he wants me to light it. And that was a torch. So I said, back up, dude, because you're going to burn your nose off. I should have just let him burn his nose off. But I was like, back up. And then he took the light, he lit a cigarette, and then he walked away, but he walked behind me, and I sat down, and I could see that he was right behind me. And so I'm looking at him, and I'm like, I could see him in my peripheral. I can see him behind me, like wandering. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, he's like, I know you. And his tone is all wrong. His tone is really wrong. And he's like, I know you. You're that famous girl. You're that famous girl. And I'm just like, okay, how many times have I heard this shit? You know what I'm saying? Shoot. And I was just like, how many times have I heard this? And I was just like joking to myself, like, okay, this guy must be crazy. And then he keeps on doing it. No, he didn't take the lighter. But so then, and he was really tall. He looked like a clone of Mark Zuckerberg. Actually, I was like, what's this Mark Zuckerberg look-alike dude over here harassing me? And so then, out of the blue, he says, um, "I know you. I know you from like 10 years ago." And he's like, "You used to be friends with Felicia. You used to be friends with Felicia." And then I'm like, how does he know Felicia? And then I was thinking, well, it's the East Coast, I've been in Florida. I don't know, maybe he knows. And so, like, I look like this. I look behind my shoulder, all exaggerated, to let him know, like, dude, what? Like, come again? And then he's like, yeah, you know Felicia. And then he says, and you used to bang that guy Adam. And I was like, I got up. I was like, dude, I went into gangster mode. I was like, dude, who are you? I was like, who are you? I was like, let me see some ID. I was like, gangster mode. I was like, no, for real, I did. I said, let me see some ID. He pulled out his ID. He pulled out two IDs. And I know his last name, I don't remember his last name because my brain just blocked that out. But the first name was Shane. Because I remember that because the only girlfriend I've ever had in my life, her name was Shane. So I was like, oh, this bitch. So then I was just like, okay. And then I was like, how do you know Adam? And I was like, what color car does Adam have? And this fool said he has like a little Mitsubishi, like, no, a little Mercedes. And I said, what color? He said, red. Do you know I got up and looked at him like, who are you? Who do you work for? What do you do? And he was just like, I'm a real estate agent. And I was thinking, real estate agent. I was like, when do people ever say that? I don't ever hear anybody say, I know there's a job that's a real estate agent, but I've never heard anybody say real estate agent. Activate. Yes. Okay, this is just the beginning. I think, did anything happen earlier? No, I think this was just the beginning. There was something right after that, or was it before? There was two things. There was all kinds of stuff. So this is the first part. So then he's like, and I'm like, what are you doing here? He's like, it's my birthday. I'm here for my birthday. I'm by myself. I live here in Florida. You just come to a resort for your birthday by yourself in Florida? This boring place, there's nobody here. Although we did find out secretly there was a secret swingers party there, and they thought we were mixed, like they confused us with them, and so half of the people were getting harassed, thinking they were here for the swingers. That was interesting. I was like, what? All kinds of crazy stuff. So yeah, but anyways, so then he starts to walk. He says, my room's way over to the left. So then I back away because I'm in shock. So I back away, and then so I'm sitting there and I'm like looking at everybody like, are you guys listening to this? And then the guy, he's like mad. He's like, I don't know why she's harassing me. I don't know why she's harassing me. I'm dang, like it didn't make any sense, and I was in such a shock that I couldn't even like ask questions like I want to. Oh, this is Frank's song. Let me put a song. This is Frank's song. Frank Castle. Frank Castle, shout out for you, babe. So, I like that song actually. So, dude walked to the left after he said, no, he said his room was to the left. He stumbled off to the right, acting like he was drunk, left his cigarettes. Yo, this guy freaked me out. I was like, first of all, everybody, how could he know Felicia and Adam? Because Felicia and Adam didn't know each other, number one. And Felicia and Adam were years apart from when they were in my life. So how did he know that? And why did he first say that I was famous and then say he knew me from Felicia and then Adam? Like, that didn't make any sense. It was like, there's no way this makes any sense whatsoever, okay? Dude was not who he said he was. He was definitely an agent. So then I had this stupid idea of having a journey while I was there and having people aboard my Cosmic Crusader ship. You guys know the Tandoori. And so there was like, it started with a lot of people in there. Somebody what? Somebody looked into my background. Oh, well, I had somebody from the NSA contact me and want to do a session with me because he saw me on, I think, Spaced Out Radio. And so he was like, I work for the NSA. And I'm like, why are you telling me this? And what do you want with me? And he's like, I wanted to, his story didn't make any sense. One thing, he wanted to share something with me. He wanted to talk to me. He says he's had experiences. Like there was all these different scripts, these different stories. And I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, I was a little curious, but I was like, why am I doing this? Should have just said no. But then I was like, well, then they're just going to keep sending somebody if I don't just go through with it and get it over with. So I was like, what do you want with me? And then he was like, well, I want to do, he was like, yeah, he told me. I have the email. And ironically, he looked like a clone to my friend Charles, and his name was Charlie. And my friend goes by Charlie, and he had the same laugh, the same demeanor, everything, but it wasn't him, but it was like a look-alike, and it was crazy. I was like, yo, this guy's like really bugging me out. And then so I tried to do a session with him twice, but he kept getting interrupted. But he claimed that like his wife was in the room, but somebody was in the background that kept interrupting him when he was trying to go under, and he kept talking to somebody, so he wasn't able to fully go under. I don't know who it was, but he was just like, he sent me a message. He was like, don't bother. I'm not going to bother, trying again. It's fine. I was like, first of all, but first he was like, at the beginning of our conversation, he was like, yeah, I can't do a session with you. And then he emailed me a few days later saying, yes, I can. And then ended up telling me that he contacted his boss and his boss said he could. I said, oh, so they got a file on me now, basically. And then I did a session with him. So he's got my script. So he knows how to get access. So yeah, they've got me. They've got me. So anyways, back to the story. I was being a control freak. That's why nobody else was driving. I had babies in the car. Rachel is just like me. We're like space cadets. And every time she was driving, she was like looking away and she wouldn't focus on the road. And I was like, Rachel, you're making me nervous. So I just kept driving because I wanted everybody to be just relaxed and comfortable. And I didn't want them to have to worry about it. So, yeah, that's why. But getting back to the story, so I did this journey with everybody because I thought it would be a great idea. I started off by asking people, telling a little bit about what I do, and then when it came to the journey, everybody got up and left, which was good. But there was 5 people left. And so I did a journey. Yeah, I wasn't trying to go through that. I was like, God forbid, we already have to be careful. So I was just like, let me just get us there. And I let her drive to the middle of the night. And she did. She got us there, from midnight to 4 in the morning. And then I drove from there. Like, she did great. She drove us to the middle of the night, and I drove during the day. Um, we're mothers. We're going to make sure our kids are safe. But Rachel wouldn't focus on the road. She was making me nervous. I love her dearly. But anyways, let me finish this because there's more to it. So then one of the guys, this guy, let me see, should I say his name? Okay, I won't say his name. If you weren't there, then you don't know. Unless you've heard it before. I know, right? So then I was like, somebody was like, you got to talk to this guy. He's got a 20 in backstory, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, fine. I wasn't going to like go. So before I got there, I set the intention that to protect me, I called in my dragons. I had protection everywhere. And I had said that if anybody had bad intentions, to keep them away from me. And so only the good vibrational people that had good intentions were allowed to be in my space. And it was very, very, very interesting to see how many people kept their distance. Like seriously, like people would look at me, but then would never come up to me and say hello or anything. And I found that very, very interesting. So this guy, I end up going up to this guy, and he thinks he has a 20 in backstory. I think a lot of people get confused with that. And so he comes, I ask him about his story, and he starts telling me about a dream he had. And I was like, hold on, let me ask you a question about your dream. And he got like irritated because I was asking him about his dream. And I was like trying to get to my point, and he kept getting irritated. And I was like, and then he started going like this. He started like twitching, and I'm standing there talking to one of our friends, and I'm looking at him, and the dude is acting like his lawyer, like just keeps talking like he doesn't see this happening. And I'm looking at him like, why are you? I finally snap at him and be like, why are you talking for him? Let him talk. But the dude was like activating, and so I asked him. I said, do you think it was like time traveling? And he said yes. Like he answered like a robotic sound. He was like, yes. And then he said, what did you just ask me? What did I just answer to? What did you just ask me? And I was like, nothing. And I backed away. I was like, nothing. And I literally walked away. I was rolling me a good blunt. I was about to smoke with everybody. I was like, I walked away, went and sat down by myself. They were standing there like, I was like, y'all ain't getting into this. And then and I was like, yo, that was freaky. This was all the same night, the last night. And then like another lady had come up to us the next morning. Another lady came up to me and was like, "It's my birthday. I'm here. I would love to get to know you guys and meet you." So there was a crew of women behind me, and I was like, "Well, you can talk to them." And I asked them, "Would you guys like to talk to this girl?" And then afterwards, I heard like she's probably another agent, and I was like, "Oh shoot." Did I just let her in? Like, I'm like, why am I the gullible one? Why are people coming to me? So, anyways, I had my protection and everything, and it was just very sketchy. A lot of sketchy stuff started happening at the end. So then at the end, I'm like packing my bags in my room, and I have my cell phone on the bed, and then like in a daze, it's almost like I see myself getting my phone, and then I don't remember what I did with it. And then like moments later, I'm like, wait a minute, where'd my where's my phone? And then I start looking around in all my bags, and it's nowhere to be found. And I'm like, where's my phone? It just disappeared. And so I was like, I was really bothered by that. I was like, it was literally right here. I saw myself grab it, I thought. It was like a memory. And then I just didn't find it. So we're on our way home, and all of a sudden, everybody's irritable. No, I don't think the food or drinks were drugged because it was all very good. And I was drinking gin and tonic, and I never caught a buzz, not once. It was like water. Um, and I didn't really see anybody drunk, which was weird. It's like nobody was drunk. And people were drinking, lots of drinking, but nobody was drunk. That was odd. You would think there'd be some stumbling or somebody would be drunk. Nobody was drunk. Why is that? Lots of alcohol. Nobody was drunk. Go figure. And so on the way home, everybody starts getting irritated. The baby. Oh, and then that morning, Aaliyah. Okay, so that day, I get this feeling. This feeling comes over me that like Rachel would be leaving with the car and the kids, and I would like get panic attacks. Like, oh my God, did something happen? Yeah. I was like, did something happen? Like, and then she would come back, and I'd be like, thank God, because like she wasn't answering my phone. So I was not about to like really let people drive, and I was already panicking. I was like, oh my God. So then, Aaliyah was at the pool, and I was listening to one of the speakers talk, and I had to get up and run out because I got a call. Aaliyah was hurt. She was crying in the background. She fell off the pool off a dolphin. And so, long story short, she says that morning she has a dream, a nightmare, and I think she wakes up crying because her dreams are very real to her. And she wakes up and she's like, Mom, I had a dream that we were at Rachel's house and she named all Rachel's people and her family, all the kids, and she's never even met the boy, I think, maybe once. And she said that these whale-like people came in and tried to abduct them and take them onto a spaceship. And so they were trying to climb out the house and get away, and they ended up like getting away and like going to this hotel and locking the door, and these whales went all over the town and like killed all these people because they didn't lock their doors. And um and then so that was the dream, right? So then we come home, we go for the long drive, we come home, and we're just like, yo, what happened at the end of this trip? Like it was just very crazy. Yeah. Hey, I'm here. I see you messaging me. Sorry, love, I'm here. Um, and so we get back 3 days later, and I'm having this feeling that something bad's gonna happen to my dog, that she's gonna die. And I'm looking at her in her eyes, thinking like, "Oh my God, my baby! Like, are you gonna leave me?" Like, I had this feeling like she was gonna die. I didn't want to tell anybody because I was like, I don't want to say this. I don't want to make it happen, so I'm trying to ignore it. You know. And so, and so I have one of my crew members go under hypnosis and go back into time and find out what was there at the resort before we got there, what was unseen. And this, my people, is where it gets interesting. Okay? Very interesting. And so what had happened was I'm okay. I'm just chilling. I'm at the studio. I'm really not. I've had a series of unfortunate events and I feel like I've been targeted and it's just like not even cool. I'm really upset. I'm really going through like different emotions to be real with y'all. Trying to hold it together though. But because I keep saying like people keep saying like we're gonna get through this, we're gonna get through this, and I'm just like, okay. So here's the thing. Let me see if I can get this out. So we had my girl go back into time because Rachel woke up and she had a dot on her hand, and she was like, "Where did this come from?" And John, this is one of the names I will say. It's the only one of the few names. John had made a remark to her. He laughed with her and was like, "Yeah, haha, they were taking DNA. They take DNA. They were taking DNA samples in your sleep." And and he said this when I wasn't around, and she told me this, and I was like, "Why would he tell you that?" And so when Rachel went under, what she had saw was basically what it was, y'all. It was, drum roll, it was a alien UFO conference on top of a conference. And what had happened was there were these uh, agents. I had done 2 sessions. I did one last night and I did one before, but I'm just going to wrap it all up in one ball because we got 15 minutes left and I can't really get to it. There was agents that went in. One of the girls had saw last night. We saw agents had went in prior and bugged all the rooms and did all these things. And then when my girl had went under the first time, she had saw these ant beams, and they were all assigned to like all the rooms, and they were waiting. They were just like waiting in our room, and they were like waiting for us to get there. And there was like all these different types of alien races there. There was like shaggy dog person. There was dog people. There was different grays. There was like everything she saw. And so just one, because he said this, and so I think it's important that it's known. So he can agree. He said this, right? You know, I mean, you know, I just have to say that because it's part of the facts. And so and then so Rachel had saw that um, that these ant beings, when people were sleeping, they were siphoning people's energies. They were looshing off people in their sleep. That's why Rob was having a hard time. And then we saw Carl, another name. We're gonna drop just a few names in the room. I can't avoid that. And I think we did some healing for him too. I can't remember if we did. The nano spider, he had this like big dark goopy thing like over him. Um, and we saw that the first time it was like this big shadow thing. And then there was these little nano spiders all over the walls. They were like little micro spiders all over the walls. Um, and then like people there was ant beings following people as they were walking. When Rob was walking, it was following. And Rob, you're gonna kill me for saying this because you don't even know, you're about to know now. um, and so they were following him, like siphoning his energy, and that's why he was like going through it, because it was like really messing with him. um, and then we found out that we all got tagged. So we all had got tagged. Me and Rob had boxes on our backs with antennas, and we Phoenix fired those off. The kids, this is what pissed me off. The kids had DNA taken from them. Phoenix, the baby, had DNA taken from his foot, and Rachel. So that was true. Maybe he just had a good, he was just guessing. Um, and then Chris and me had, and Rachel had like a toe ring tracker on her toe ring. It was like a toe ring. I think like somebody had a bracelet. There was like all these tracker things on us, and so we got rid of all of those. What pissed me off is when I got to Tandoori, she was pissed. She said, "This is bullshit." I hate to say that. I think I could say that on the station, so they infiltrated when I did the session. They infiltrated on my ship. They put cameras on my ship. They basically poisoned the water. They tainted the water system, and they put a drone tracker on the bottom of my ship. And so she was like, "It's basically destroyed. You just got to destroy it." So we ended up saving her consciousness, and had her grow bigger and brighter. But she was not happy about what had happened. So I was like so feeling bad, because now I got to be very careful who I let on my ship, because I only had 5 people, and only out of those 5 people, I think only 3 people went and had, or 4 people had the journey. I don't know. I think 4 people had the journey out of 5. Can't remember. So basically they had got access to me. And we also found out that half of the speakers are not who they say they are. We found out that there was a lot of hybrids, that there was a lot of people in cloaks, that there was a lot of messery going around, a lot of spells being put here and there. It was crazy. It was so crazy. Like the most you could think of was going down right before your eyes, and you didn't even know it. But I did hear like 3 people complain during one of the speakers that one girl felt nauseous, one girl like cried hysterically. She didn't know what was wrong with her. Like people had like things feeling over them, like people were feeling all this stuff and they didn't know why. That's why you got to do your shadow work and know what's going on, because you can get led down the wrong path. But there was a lot of 3-letter agencies, agents. A lot of the people at the resort, the guests, weren't human. The little girls next door to us weren't human. The little girl that hit Aaliyah in the pool wasn't human, and it was connected to her dream. And so a lot of people are time travelers. A lot of people aren't who they say they are. And a lot of it is just basically to get access to who you are. So you have people who are really trying to believe in this, and who are really fighting for it. And then you have the others that are just luring you in. And then you end up like me, that had whole lot of events. I get home, my dog dies, or my dog gets taken, she's gone, just disappears. I have a molar that breaks, my tire goes flat twice. Like, yo, the most that can happen is like constantly happening. And I'm just like really trying. So I had contacted a few of my sisters and they went under and they found out that there was a lot of negative aliens that were around me. But they were around me because they were ready to cross over because they know I don't play that, and so that she actually crossed them over for me. So I'm grateful for that. So hopefully it's all good now. Hopefully I'm all clear. But let me tell you, everybody was very nice. I got along with everybody. We had a great time. There was nobody really there at the conference but the speakers, which seemed very odd to me. And then like the whole James Rink guy, like his drama there, like he brought drama to our conference. It was crazy, but we held it down. Like we didn't let that bother us. But like there was a lot of stuff like that was just happening. But I just kept to myself and I just tried to connect with people I felt like connected like to. And, I got I went all out for the costume contest, and I didn't even get fifth place. They just like I mean, it looked crappy, but I didn't get nothing. But yeah, so I got a few moments for questions. So if you guys have any questions, let me read this. Um, yeah, no conferences for me anymore. And I'm hearing a lot of people say that these things are happening at the conferences, but the thing about it is if we know these are happening, why are we not talking about this? Like, I just don't understand. We got tagged. My ship got destroyed. I'm having like a series of unfortunate events now. Like, why? I miss my dog, by the way. Oh, they outcasted me. I'm not part of this crew. Yo, I'm not part of that. That's a very tight crew. Very tight crew. Nobody was interested in getting to know me. They didn't care about what I did. I was like, whatever, I don't care. Oh yeah, there was a lot of that going on. So basically, we found out that the guy that was clicking was Cyborg. We found out that there's a lot of people that aren't who they are. A lot of people in cloaks. Half these speakers aren't really human. Some are hybrids. I don't even know if they know this. I don't even know if they're aware that this is happening to them. Yeah, the costume contest. They just like, who cares about her? It was very clicky, I have to say. There was very clicky. There was a few people. There was a few. Let's get some music going on. There was a few clicks, definitely, but that's fine. You got your clicks. But let's just say that after what I experienced, I was like, I'm surrounded by these people, and no one really gives two craps about what I do. Everybody has their experiences. I would love to talk to people, get to know people, but I wasn't gonna chase nobody. And so, I talked with a lot of people. Had a good time hanging out with Penny Bradley. She's a very sweet lady. I this one lady said that she saw me on Spaced Out Radio, so she was glad to see me. So I was like, okay, wow. Yeah, I know. I was thinking of doing that. I was like, if I did my own event, could I keep it safe enough for people? Like, I would have to get every angel's uh like word on that. Like, can you guys Oh, so here's the other thing. The reason why I didn't get attacked like everybody else did is because I called upon my dragon, and the girl, my homegirl, saw a dragon, a big blue dragon following behind me, so nobody could get near me. So I did have my protection up. She also said that in Rob's room the light was very dark and dim, but in my room it was bright white. And so I thought that was interesting. Yeah, that's the thing. And I'm trying to keep my stuff really tight and small too, because when you start having like random people coming to your events and off the street, like you really don't know who these people are. You really don't know. And that's the scary thing, is that you don't know who these people are. But overall, I did have a very good time. I was very grateful for John to offer to sponsor us. Like that was very generous of him. Um, and it was very nice of Brian to give me a platform to talk. Like that was very generous. Like he didn't have to do that, and I do appreciate what they did. But my experience at the conference was also my experience. And what we see in the what we're seeing was going on. Oh, there was also a ship. There was ships above our spaceship too. There was ships above the resort too, and there's also a Stargate there. And so there's a lot of energy and secret agencies and stuff. So it was like really mind-boggling to think like how does this happen? I need to know more. I need to know, like, are people aware that this is happening, or is this like the aliens' way of like messing with us? Like, I need to know that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Well, the government, they want access, and so they got access, and so that's why I'm not trying to be big. I ain't trying to tell everybody about what I do, because I know that if it's in the wrong hands, I've been warned by unicorns not to share everything. So I'm like, okay, fine. But yeah, so that's what happened. I just wanted to share with you guys, and let you know what happened. It was a nightmare. And the aftermath part of it. And then what we saw just did not surprise me, but apparently I'm okay now. Um, yeah, it was just a nightmare, but I thought it was really interesting that there was so many like aliens there. Yeah, so I'll stay tuned. I'll be still tapping in. Every chance we get, we might just keep going back and just keep exploring, because so far I've had two people go back and we've seen two different things. So I'm getting ready to end my show in a little bit. So thank you guys for tuning in and listening. Blessings and infinite love to you. Yes, I'm really not trying to put fear out there, y'all, but please shield and protect yourselves and call upon your dragons, because this is real and it is a spiritual war and they want your abilities. So remember that. Ay, ay, ay. So blessings and infinite love to you guys. I will see you guys around. Bye.